The Nikon A7S IV is the only camera I can even fathom that could potentially bring joy to my life.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So we're on the DJI Pocket 3 low light test. It's nighttime. They're in a damn sun in the sky. You're following me. I changed the mode, so eventually if I see pigeons flying above me, we'll get the shot. So Nikon, I don't see anything happening in the last 4 years that is beating the Sony A7S III. That's what I'm waiting for. We've got a bunch of cool stuff. They're shrinking down the technology. So like we're getting A7S III specs in this. That's fantastic. For a little handheld vlogging thing, I have an A7S III in my hands. That's ridiculous. So thank you for shrinking it. I want to move beyond it though. Like better. So like we're talking 4K 240p, HD 480 frames. Now we're talking, and then something different too, like IBIS, 10 stops of IBIS somehow. Now while Nikon has no track record of exciting us with specs, I do want them to make a video-centric A7S III killer, the Nikon Video Boy. Can you even fathom it? With Nikon stabilization, it's up there with Panasonic from what I'm hearing in the IBIS. Nikon color science, surpassing Canon even. Nikon autofocus is pretty good. It's pretty reliable. The most exciting thing though is the Nikon Z lenses. They're the only company coming out with like vintage, low element count, an ode to the past type of lenses that are cheap. 40mm Tony 2, fantastic lens. I bet you the 28mm 2.8, also phantasmally brilliant. That's probably the only two, if we're being real with ourselves. But a Nikon A7S III? Come on. Right now we're looking at Nikon Z6 III rumors that are probably going to have 4K 60 HD 120. I do not understand why you're sticking with 120 is the max you can do when your old little 1-inch cameras, the Nikon J1 series, all those things that are no longer available except used for way too much money, those were doing like thousands of frames per second with the worst resolution, admittedly, but they were doing it. You think they couldn't improve upon that? For some reason, they've removed that from my life. I could have crossed. I think I'm going to take advantage of that green light. There's no reason it exists. Not one person is here. No one pressed a button. Everybody's waiting. They're mad. They got to get home for dinner. But I'm the important one. I'm a vlogger. Me. All that was me. This long line you're seeing? All those people backed up for an hour and a half? That's so I could cross the street. I'm important. I love Nikon. That's all I know for sure. The Nikon Z30, it has not one spec in there that beats any other camera ever made. There's not one point and shoot that doesn't have better specs than the Z30, but it looks so fantastic. I can't even believe it. Ton it. There's ton it. But it says. So like it's terrible on paper, but I love the look of it. And that means Nikon can get away with less specs technically and still win me over. But not in the A7S III. I want super specs and Nikon Wonder. It is so cold, I'm crying. My nose is bleeding. Look at that glimmer highlight in the hair. That's some stuff. So in this thing, I think it should be a low megapixel sensor, super good IBIS, flippy screen, obviously. Do we need I do want a viewfinder because this is also going to be my wildlife camera, so it's not just for stupid stuff. And some type of RAW, so like probably 4K RAW, because it's a lower megapixel. If you're seeing the Nikon Z8 does 8K RAW. That's overkill because it's a photography megapixel count, 45. It's way too high. And then this Z6 II That's going to be a hybrid photography, and that's doing 6K RAW. That's too much. I want 4K RAW, 240 frames per second this year somehow. It sounds like 2024 specs to me. So I hope Nikon does it. If Canon does it, they'll remove something that I really need in it. The cripple hammer will dent that thing too hard, whereas the Mimic Monkey, he's more gentle. He's just copying other stuff. He doesn't like take things away from you. And no, it doesn't have to be Nikon. It could be Fuji. No, not Fuji. If Fuji does it, I'll be mad because the autofocus will be jerky and the IBIS will suck. Nikon, come on. I'm pushing for you. I'm rooting for you. A7S IV. 4. Don't copy the A7S III, I swear. It's too late for that. That's 2020. It's old. This thing blocks my mouth. But if I folded it down, I'd be colder. You want that on your resume? I don't think you do. We are now in good light. Too good. Wow, that is harsh. I'm gonna leave. We've learned something. How did this perform in low light? 1-inch sensor. A gimbal. Nikon? Are you buying it through my affiliate link? There's an affiliate link down there. Go check it. It's available already. I'll buy one. Subscribe for more of an announcement.